Hello again. Let's do this beautiful model we've got here today. Now, got the head down here, got the gesture really elongated and angular gestural drawing, shoulder, axis, and the kneecap. Got kneecap here, calf, and the foot there, head moving down, looking down, shoulder shadow, and crotch area, her hand which is holding tummy here, upper torso, nipples here, breast, shadow again, shadow here. Then you have the kneecap right here. Heel and toes, looks more like that. And then you have the upper arm, a shadow of the upper arm. Then you have the hand, which is tightly gripping the toes, and you have the elbow, shoulder, rib cage, and a little bit of, I guess, some transparent shadows here, which I'm going to use the sponge again for a quick apply, to apply that dark kind of more evenly. Dark again, charcoal and sponge. And that's the shadow of the upper arm on the torso. And then you have the split of the two breasts. You have the left and the right. And then the other arm. Left arm. Crotch area. And then you have that soft shadow which splits the upper thigh and the lower thigh. Then the portrait face, got the nose here, nose a bit lower, upper lip and the lower lip, I've got the chin here. Neck. And all this area is kind of dark because it's in the shadow. Then you have the eyebrow. Then you have the eye looking down. And the hair. That's quite dark, solid dark. It's the darkest dark in the whole figure. Solid. Well, not completely solid, not pure dark, but it's quite dark. And we have the calf and the toes. Kneecap. Fingers. And some darks here again with my tool here, the sponge. And I'm going to apply it this way because that's a cylinder, and as a cylinder you have the shadow quite rounded like this. The way you see the shadows being applied, that's the way you should, or I should, and you should apply the darks here. It's easier to do it this way because you emphasize the roundness of the form wherever you are. There's another shadow here. And then you have the upper torso, which is all kind of the same dark really, or middle tone. That's the neck. That's a neck which I can use the edge of the sponge, right here. The edge of the sponge. Okay, now I have another cylinder, huge cylinder, which has a thigh, and that thigh goes right down here. Again, rounded. Take some of the dark and apply it rounded there. Crotch area, a bit smaller face. I've done a huge face here, but I'm gonna render that because the chin has gone too large. Getting some shadow here, and I think I could get away with cutting it a little bit because it's quite long. And how about I add a little bit of background here? I think that defines the body. Instead of using sharp lines, I'm going to use the background and the light of the paper, of the light white paper, to define her body. And a little bit wider here, as in where the belly, there. And then it's not actually spreading it, so I'm going to use it with my index finger. Yeah, that's more transparent and solid, dark. Sometimes the finger helps more than the sponge, depending on the circumstances. on the paper as well. That's a little bit of a hard paper, is not absorbing too much of my charcoal. And as I said, with penny, sometimes the charcoal, you cannot spread it, so you have to push it. You cannot spread it with a brush, so you have to push it with your finger. We discussed, we've said that with penny and with most of you. Sometimes you need to push it. So that's Milo shaking his body. Get a bit more shadow there. And having that shadow here, having that where the arm and the hand is. That's not me, that's Milo again. Okay, and then a bit more shadow here. Now the whole figure just extends, so I don't have the end of that, but I know that we have the kneecap there, like we have a kneecap here. Here, shadow, sorry, a line, which it is or should be the kneecap and elbow, sorry, elbow. Okay. Bit of tonal value, darker. Nipple here. And that is more of an extended rib cage. Rib cage. Little finger. Ring finger. Middle finger and index finger. It's hard to do the hand turned like this. Crotch area. Feels a bit wide here, but she's quite wide at the top. That's a collarbone. That's a shadow at the top from her neck. Okay, I'm going to stop for a while. Okay, let's get back to our nude. Now we have this, that's a palette knife, which I've used to wrap it up with chamois. It's kind of a soft darks will give us here. And gives you very solid and soft darks as well. And this is where the shadow cast shadow of the bodies, and then you have her bum here. That's also very very transparent area here. And you have a nice dark area down here where the crotch area is. Crotch. And you have a nice shadow here as well, which makes the tan of her belly. And a general dark of her thigh. As I said, move the brush, move the hand, move the darks here or chamois here around the volume or the form of the area you're drawing. It's a dark shadow here, which is basically cast shadow of the body. Cast shadow of the body. Now you have darken that again, working on my hands and toes here. Heel, middle tone here, cast shadow here. Sorry, well, not really cast shadow, but the middle tone there. Again, working on hand, elbow, hair, and the chin, middle tone here, and the background. As I said, if I darken the background, that will give me a nice line, natural line between the upper torso, upper hand, particularly here, and shadow here, and then you have the kneecap, this is basically a very, very light area. The figure here, she's got a very bright skin, so it will be hard really to distinguish the shadows because it reflects the light back to you. It's very difficult, but I'm pumping up some shadows here in the sense that they're not there, but I'm doing them so I can see more about the volume. And I think I've gone too far out with this. I need to go with the calf here up to that point, and then the kneecap comes here. Cannot go further than that. And a general light area. This is the calf here. Then insisting with those darks. here, and then a little bit more. I think I need to raise that a little bit more. Yeah, the whole area here. Yeah, there. So a bit more bum here, and then you have the naturally thigh here, which goes, and then that goes off the page because the whole leg is longer. But at the end of the day, I don't want to keep, or I don't want to make it, I want to define it. I'll let it go as it moves off the page. And a general light tone here. See, and moving it according to the form, kind of round it. There. And now that I've raised this, which basically I've made the hip wider, I need to define and I need to adjust the shoulder here. I think I've gone too low there, so adjust the shoulder. That's the upper torso. Nose, which is somewhere here. Now why I'm inside, what do I mean by saying somewhere? Because I'm not sure yet. And lighter there. And a bit softer darks as we are on the belly here, and the belly is quite light. How about I bring a little bit of background, as I've said earlier on. And that's chamois, as I said, that's palette and chamois wrapped up. And I think that also that nipple was too high. So I need to bring it low, together with this one here, both. And coming back and forth now with my charcoal to define the nipple here a little bit more. I can come and do where the upper shoulder ends. Then you have the elbow. Elbow here. So that's the fingers. Toe here. Or toes. A bit more rounded. Not that angular. And that's the foot itself. And this is where the shin is. Dipped it on charcoal dust. Again. Crotch area is the darkest area here. Then another line which comes from above. Then you have again the pushing and pulling off the lower hip and the upper torso think I'm a bit too far out with this, but I'll leave it for the time being. Eyelid. It's there. The face is a little bit more visible now. Nipple is where the kneecap, elbow is. Nipple down here. There. And a little bit darker here as well. A little bit more charcoal dust. Create that transparent dark and pushing it into the page, into the paper, because the paper is not holding it. There. And the area where the bum becomes thigh and the thigh becomes bum there. A bit more charcoal dust. And I think that, yes, this shin is a bit further out here. So that makes the thigh longer, a bit longer. Charcoal, again, I dip it onto the charcoal when the palette knife it disappears, it's because I'm dipping it onto the charcoal. And you have the toe. Then you have the calf. And the kneecap, which is, I cannot see it, but I know it's here. Now I cannot see it because the picture, the photography, doesn't show me the kneecap. Well, you'll see it at the end, so. At least the photo that I have. Okay, and then a little bit more of a dark shadow or dark area here, which defines the upper torso. And let's work a little bit on her features, as in eye, hair, eyebrow, on her portrait basically. Nose, upper nostril. I mean, the upper part of nostril. Eyebrow. Hair. That's the upper lip. Lower lip. And the chin, I don't actually see the chin because the line is completely blurred. I mean, becomes light. The line becomes light. The light becomes, or the line becomes the light that I have here on the chin. I can define it this way by not using a line but using the light. Now that's the upper side, the other line on the top of on the lower part of the arm, elbow, again, and the soft middle tone which defines that line here. There. And neck, a bit of less of putty rubber. I think I had a lot of putty rubber. So let's work a little bit on the face. Jaw, upper shoulder, light here, light on the breast here, a bit lighter, and then lines. A bit of highlight here, and light tone here. Then the whole thigh is quite light, very light. Well, not as light as this part of her body, which has been almost directly illuminated by the studio light. And this breast is quite in the light area, so keep it light, very light. That's the lightest part actually. It's the upper shoulder and the breast. And then you have rib cage, and then face, working on the face, a bit of light tone on the upper arm. I mean, that's the lower arm, but I mean the arm, the lower arm, and that is a bit too dark, so I've softened it. There. Now, cheek area, which is very, very beautifully rosy red, so it gives a middle tone. It's not completely light. Then you have the upper shoulder here. Okay. Possibly I'll do that with mono 0 rubber here. Then you have hair, a bit light. Okay, actually she's a lot darker than that, but then that gives me precision. And also my rubber, putty rubber, is not that effective in this area, so it's a bit of a different paper that I'm using today from the usual one. It's a drawing paper, but a bit harsh, it's a bit thick, so it's harder to pull up lights. And then you have the foot, which enters the hand shadowy area. There is no line here, so I'm going to create a line by using a little bit of a darker background here, but not at the moment. So let's put it this way. So let's turn it. Then you have flesh tone here. Eyebrow, eyelid, eyebrow. Chin, jaw, and the fingers here. She's dipping her fingers on the flesh, on her belly. That's where the line of the thigh is. And I think that thigh drops down there, not as rounded, not as angular here. So it's a bit, moves down. So I'll need to do that background here. Or so do the background, they do the line here. Let's do the line here. Calf area. That's a lighter tone up here, as it is illuminated or lit by the projector. And we have the calf. And as I said, working on this side, instead of doing a line, we can do that. Working on the background here. And that defines the foot. Softer, as I don't want the background to be distracting of the figure. Let's move that back. And then let's soften that area. Then thigh, calf, and that area is a little bit darker, which is basically between the calf, the kneecap and the toe. There. And keeping that light on the thigh. Keeping that light on the side. Okay. There's that line for the hip. It's a very light, very, very light tone, but there's a line there. There's a line here, a bit of a shadow here. And a light tone here as well. Keep that red color, which translates here with a little bit of a tone. Get a little bit of a lower arm here. Okay, that's in front of it's in front of the face, obviously, and that lower arm. There's a line which defines it, and here as well. And then you have that lower arm here. I mean upper arm, that's the upper arm, that's the lower arm. And then we have here the fingers all here. Sorry for the noises here because I'm on the ground floor and all my neighbor cars, you can hear them, and people walking past. You can hear every movement here in the hamlet. It's a nice distraction, for me at least. Okay, how about the hill there? And that continues there, off the page. I mean, that was a composition, but I wanted to make it bigger than rather than a smaller drawing, bigger. That's more impactful. Dip it here now onto the shadow. Dip that. Dip my palette knife together with the chamois wrapped up. Elbow. Upper arm. Okay. And soften all these areas here. I could get away with some darker here on the foot itself. dark crotch area. I think I went a little bit too light with that area here. It's a bit too light. Isn't too bright. So let's get some charcoal here. Especially, there's no fat here at all. Middle tone here, and then that moves down here where the crotch area is. Of hair, darker. I need to work on those fingers really, as they are a bit tensioned, in the sense that they're deepening into the flesh. And a nipple here. All that dark middle tone, soft middle tone. Soft middle tone here. Again, I said that was too light. So give it just a very, very light tone with my charcoal. And some bone structure which reveals itself here. And her upper lip with her lower lip. There. And the shadow of the upper nose. Then we have now eyelid, eyebrow. Pretty girl. Eyebrow there. Okay. Jaws. Beautiful area here. Darks, they define the neck and the color. Middle tones, I'm going to be harsh here, but that's what I'm going to do with my chamois and my palette knife, which I can direct. Actually, it will help if I had a little bit of a stump, which I do here. A bit of stump. See. Now we have the stump. The stump goes a long way, as it is very pointy and it regulates the darks and addresses the darks wherever they are and where not. take some dark from here and add it onto her blush. Or now that translates, as I said, into dark and light because there's no color here. I dipped my stump onto charcoal dust here. I think I've got too much charcoal dust, but I'm trying to control it. So a bit of dark there, and then spread it all over, right up to the bone there. Okay. Unfortunately, I have the same problem as Penny, and that means that I'm pushing the dust, charcoal dust, and the paper is not accepting it enough. Well, that's part of the process. You have to deal with it now. When you have a core shadow here and a cast shadow there. There. And some ribcage. And some darks here. Actually, not dark. There. Rounded form of a bum. Actually, what I want to do, I want to concentrate on that area a bit more than anything else. So kind of that's my focal point, in the sense that portrait, although I shouldn't because it's not a portrait drawing, but she's really pretty, so I want to put a little bit of portrait here. And then the line of her thigh, which goes right up. There. Now, I've gone too light here. I think I can get away with doing some darks here. Although that it's a very light area, but I think it would be better if I darken it. See, that's the choice that an artist makes, or should make. That's a very bright area on the picture you will see, but it's not working because it's just too light. So I've chosen to change it a little bit, give it a tone, a very light tone, light dark tone, but a light tone, but not bright as it was. Again, the charcoal is not working. I'm pushing it onto the page, and it's not working onto the paper. Fingers are a little bit of a nightmare here because it's twisted and it's hard to wrap your head around it. Try and do something here, get something done. First of all, let's do that reflected light on her breast down here. Now that rightly reflects from her up, from her leg here, shin goes up, and that reflects under her breast here. Nipple area, and then a bit of light in between the flesh tone and the fingers themselves. Again, it's a bit of a nightmarish, because she's twisting her hand really amazingly here, and it's hard to wrap your head because we're looking at it from not upside down, from downside up, kind of. And then that's the rib cage, of course. And that is the, as I said, the line, which I didn't want to do a line, but I've done the background, which is giving me a line, sort of, to define the flesh from the background. And here I want to blend it with the background, just blend it. It's a deliberate act to blend it, just don't leave a line there.